everybody. We are live. Very first episode of the Adult Table. The one podcast brought to you by two assholes who have two shows about two other different things. And we might touch tips and cross here and there, but this is where everything is on the table. And if you're lucky enough to be smart enough, we are live. Very first episode of the Adult Table. The one podcast, but then you might get sent back to two other different things, and we might touch tips and cross here and there, but this is where everything is on the table. And if you're lucky enough to be smart enough,
yes, just so everybody knows, this is our
very first episode of the Adult Table.
Still muted. I'm glad it's not me running.
But he didn't know. This is Joey Fast, everyone seat one.
What's up, y'all? Still muted. You might have heard of us. We're pretty cool. Sports talk show. We go live in New Bedford Guy. I'm glad it's not Tuesday, right? 8:30 p.m. We're mostly sports talk, but we dabble in a lot of nonsense as well. But Travis and I decided to.
This is Joey Fast, everyone
this little collaboration because we both had shows that were very specific, and we wanted to talk about other stuff and branch out. We go live in New Bedford Guy. Broaden our horizons. So 8:30 p.m. We're mostly sports talk, but we dabble in a lot of nonsense as well. But Travis and I decided to. That's why he has the gaming headset on. This little collaboration because I could just pretty much cut my microphone off with my headphones because I don't need it because I'm chat stuff and branch out. Broaden our horizons. So 8:30 p.m. We're mostly sports talk, but we dabble in a lot of nonsense as well. But Travis and I decided to. That's why he has the gaming headset on. This little collaboration because I could just pretty much cut my microphone off with my headphones because I don't need it because I'm chat stuff and branch out. Broaden our horizons. So 8:30 p.m. Pilots are great. We're mostly sports talk, but we dabble in a lot of nonsense as well. But
I'm just getting nothing but repeat.
This little collaboration. Don't you love it? It's like everything just works in the test, and now all of a sudden it's just like you go live and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? No, it's all about you.
It's just layers of everything that we've just been saying this whole time on top of each other. So I'm not sure where to start. I'm just getting nothing but repeat.
The little, I swear to God, man, there's like little like, it's like everything just works around.
Of everything that we've just been saying this whole time on top of each other, so I'm not sure where to start. I'm just getting nothing but repeat.
The little, I swear to God, man, there's like they're doing it with Zoom. It's like this is more of a pain in the ass than just.
Oh wait, now it's better.
Oh, okay, so you had to click a little.
Everything that we've just been saying now it's just repeating a bunch of shit. I'm just getting nothing but repeat. This is hilarious.
I swear to God, man, there's like they're doing it with Zoom. It's like this is more. I mean, it wouldn't be a first show than just.
Oh wait, now it's
everything technical side didn't go tits up at least.
Everything that we've just been saying
now it's just repeating a bunch of shit. We need a dedicated tech.
This is hilarious.
I swear to God, man, there's like they're doing it with something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't be a first show. Work through it, baby.
Oh wait, now it's
everything technical side. I'll keep people occupied while you do that. You know, sit here and chat some shite. That's why we need a dedicated tech.
This is that would be nice, wouldn't it?
That sounds like something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't be a first show. Work through it, baby.
Oh wait, now it's I'm trying to figure it out.
I'll keep people occupied while you do that. You know, sit here and chat while you're working on that. We need a dedicated tech. We do have a pretty decent.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
That sounds like something. It was going to be a short lineup because we're limited in time. It wouldn't be a first show because of Zoom. So we can only do so much on one show. But we're going to touch on while you're working on it and kind of just go from there. We do have a pretty decent.
That would be nice.
But the idea was to get those two things out there. I'm pretty excited about the first show because of Zoom. So we can only do so much on one show. But we're going to We're going to touch on while you're trying and kind of just go from there. Coming down. We do have
that would be nice.
I hope you find out. It was going to be a short podcast that it was in fact Daniel that was responsible for 2000.
I think all signs kind of point to him having a hand in both his and look who benefited the most out of that.
Obviously, I mean we know that. Are you good on your end? That it was in fact Daniel.
Oh, I'm still hearing everything we just said minutes ago. All signs kind of point to.
So it's a nightmare.
Him having a hand in both.
I'm trying to suss out what's going on.
Hey, all right. So
benefited the most out of that.
yeah. So obviously, I mean, I think we're going to end up. Are you good on your end? That it was
I'm still hearing everything we just said minutes ago. All signs kind of point to.
So it's a nightmare.
Him having a hand in both.
I'm trying to suss out what's going on.
Hey, all right. So
benefited the most out of that.
So anyway, I mean, I think we're going to end up. Are you good on your end? That it was
Hold on.
I'm still hearing everything we just said minutes ago. All signs kind of point to.
So it's a nightmare.
Him having a hand in both.
I'm trying to suss out what's going on.
Hey, all right. So
benefited the most out of that.
I'm just keeping myself off watching Seahawks.
I'm still hearing everything we just said minutes ago. All signs kind of point to.
So it's a
My
nightmare.
poor buddy's a big
I'm trying to suss out.
somehow this season it sucks. But
benefited the most out of that.
I'm just keeping myself off watching
I'm just looking.
watching Seahawks. There's one little tab in there that you're just gonna click like force monitor off. Like I said,
Put that on
everything. Is just, there's the one. It's super hidden. They don't make it obvious. I'm just keeping myself off. Oh, did you mute Zoom?
I'm just looking.
Did you like physically mute Zoom?
I don't think so.
Sometimes that might help. Because you might be getting audio through Zoom and through.
Put that on
Everyone. Yeah, try that. I don't know if that'll It's super hidden though. They don't make it obvious. I'm just keeping myself off. Oh, did you mute Zoom? I think that was it. I'm trying to remember how we did this.
I don't think so.
I don't know what season. We had like because you might be getting more.
I can only
We had guests operate it. I remember having to drag my laptop up here. They don't make it plug at it, like plug a camera into that, just to do this. Oh, did you mute Zoom?
I don't know if this was.
I'm trying to remember. Did I just mute?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
We had like because you might be getting more.
I can only
operate it. I remember having to drag my laptop auxiliary and desktop audio. You might just
okay.
Mute one of those.
Jesus Christ.
You good?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Well, I still got you. We're good, baby. That's it. There it is. See, we just got to work through these things a little bit. That's all. No one said this launch was going to be pretty.
All right. We good?
I'm good on my end. I got
Jesus Christ.
All right. He has risen.
Just like Jesus, after 3 days.
Yeah, it's after 3 days we got the stream right. So
give me a long weekend and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's all right. That's what long weekends are for, man. You know, getting drunk and figuring things out. So, cheers to that. Yeah, I'll drink my water because I'm not drinking now because I'm sober until I can have a couple of soda pops here and there, but I'm not doing my normal drinking routine until December. So.
That's a good time to start when it gets cold.
Yeah, well, I'm going on a cruise. I mean, I'm not going to not drink on the cruise, but also trying to lose some weight, you know?
Yeah, otherwise what are you taking the cruise
trying to svelte out, you know? Trying to look svelte for my cruise.
Which I assume, who's the booze in your case would help because you're a big guy.
I mean,
and I don't mean like you're morbidly obese or anything.
Well, according to my doctor, funny enough, you said that I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I went to check in for my doctor's appointment, and in my doctor's thing, they I'm like going through my chart, and it was like morbidly obese, severe comorbidities, blah blah blah, and I'm like, man, fuck you. Like, you guys are dicks. Like, I'm going to bust my doctor's balls about that. Like, I am not morbidly obese. You would not look at me and think obesity.
Well, a lot of people say like the BMI thing.
That's what it is. It's the BMI thing.
Kind of bullshit. But I mean, I think there's some truth behind it depending on the individual. But it's also an individual thing. Because you could be 6'7" and 175
and they're like, you are anorexic, sir. It's like, no, man, I'm just bull. I'm like, leave me alone.
Right.
But anyway, let's all right. So we got a couple of topics we wanted to dive into tonight. Obviously, this is the adult table, where we are going to talk about adult topics. Eventually, we are going to bring we're going to try to bring callers into the fold. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that, but we'll try to figure that out at some point, or at least be super responsive or hyper responsive to some chat. People's questions in the live feed in the chat, or messaging, whatever it is that you're using over there, because I can't see any of it because Travis is hosting all this. So
right now I see the chat through Streamlabs that is live on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Streamlabs is great. I use it to when I stream iRacing all the time. It's great. You can see it takes all my feeds and puts them into one chat, which is super nice.
Very nice.
So I can get the Twitch feed, the Facebook feed, eventually the YouTube feed, TikTok if I decide to do that.
Yep.
And
this show eventually will have its own channel. Right now,
this is all just infant stages. So if you're watching this right now, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, but bear with us as well.
Yeah, growing pains. But initially, I thought, let's do this as a canned episode. Let's try and work out the kinks. We tried to do last week. Thought we got most of it done. On your end, you've been fine. It's all been on me.
It's always on the host end. That's the thing, because you have to change everything you've been doing for the last whatever many years, and try something new, because you have everything set up to do like I have everything set up to do row one, seat one.
Same.
So when I go to host like a stream for racing, it's just a simple like 2-click. Like all you gotta do is like move a monitor and turn a camera a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you want to incorporate Zoom and different stuff, now you're like, okay, I have all the equipment, but now I have to shuffle this whole deck in a totally different way. And it's
exactly. I'm used to doing it just for my channel. I have my already set up template. It's good to go.
Yeah, so
don't really have to do anything.
So it might be a little rough around the edges, but we'll hone it in. It'll clean up nice. I promise.
Yes.
It'll be like Janie Briggs and not another teen movie. We'll turn it into the prom queen.
All you got to do is let your hair down, take off those glasses.
Get rid of those paint covered overalls, and you're good.
And you're a fucking 10.
I know you would, Reggie Ray.
Hon, what are you doing down there? Quit farting around.
Hey there, pumpkin tits. Fucking classic movie. Unbelievably good. Little Miss runs home to her daddy, ran home to her daddy.
It hits all the classic like 80s.
I love when
90s cliche.
I love when he punches the like camera guy in the face, and he's like punches him. He's like, and that's just for being really weird.
Yeah. The American beauty guy.
Yeah.
Film in the bag.
The bag. It's like the balloon under it, like whatever.
It's just beautiful. I'm different.
It's so fucking good, dude. What a great movie.
Oh, it's great.
That was like one of those ones we were talking about good movies the other day. I know we have like a set agenda, like things we want to talk about, but this is probably going to be more of a common thing. I mean, I know it's common on my show, but we'll try to keep it to the topics. But we were talking about like underrated fucking comedy movies. And for some reason, like Grandma's Boy comes up as underrated because I guess like not a lot of people know about it, which I find shocking because it's 18 years old now, almost 20 years old.
It's funny that you bring that one up in particular because I did not see it until well after it was, on home video. And my drummer of all people at the time, who was straight edge, he was like, "Wait, you haven't seen that?"
Dude, it was one of those. I think it came out in 2006. I didn't see it until I don't think it went to theaters. I think it was like a straight to DVD thing.
Oh, I think it was. It just didn't
do well.
Yeah.
In theaters.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. It didn't do well in theaters. I didn't know anything about it, but I watched it on DVD. My brother brought it home one day. It was like, dude, you gotta watch this movie. It's super funny. And I was like, all right. And now it's like one of those ones I throw it on just as background while I'm doing anything.
Yeah, I've watched it over a dozen times now since then.
Oh, dozen? Jesus Christ!
Probably more than that. Yeah,
I'm in triple digits, easy.
One thing I found out about that movie recently actually is that the game that the main character was working on that Robot Boy stole.
Yeah,
demonic, an actual game. It just never got released.
No shit.
Yeah, I thought it was just strictly made.
Like just a dev thing for the movie.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be a direct tie-in. Like,
no shit.
Almost like cross promotion sort of thing. It's just the game never got finished.
Yeah, and then JP steals it, that rat fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I am a genius. I fucking love that movie, dude. God, I could fucking watch that. I'm gonna watch.
If you had robot ears. Yeah. I don't like to.
Thinking about getting metal legs. It's a risky operation, but it could be worth it.
Oscar Pastorius.
Yeah, right. I mean, just don't shoot your wife afterwards. It's fine.
I mean, if you're gonna aim wildly, don't aim directly at the door that she's behind.
Yeah, that probably. It's like they teach you when you go to any firearm safety class. They're like, sight picture, like know what's in front of and behind your target at all times. When you're firing. So
it's kind of important.
You'd hate for like a 7-year-old to catch a couple of strays because a wild meth addict was coming at you on meth mile for no reason, and you just start bucking around wildly like there's no consequences to your actions.
Yeah, it's a bad look.
Yeah, this doesn't. Yeah, you're not gonna find much compassion from a jury because you accidentally shot a kid.
Yeah, not really. Not that I can imagine.
Like, but there was a meth head with 2 broken legs charging at me. Like they were running on their knee bones, and they're like, yeah, that means they probably weren't.
Their knee bones.
That means they probably weren't that fast. You probably could have just got away without shooting.
Yeah, their knee bones. All the knees.
Yeah.
All the bones in their knees.
They were just running on their bones of their knees. Their legs were snapped in half, and they were like remember that movie Quarantine that came out? It was really shitty, a long time ago, and like it was like it was the one like they trap all these people in a building and they start turning into zombies or whatever. Anyway, my wife and I went to see it.
I think so.
It was a really bad movie. It wasn't very good. And
was it the Spanish one?
No. It was like mid late 2000s. I think it came out. And one of the firefighters gets infected, but he after he falls, he breaks his leg, and then he gets infected. And he gets up to walk, and his leg snaps at midway up his shin, and the bone comes out the bottom, and he's just hobbling around on it, and
compound fracture.
Yeah, and my wife does not do well with broken bones and blood, and especially with the sound effects. And yeah, I thought she was gonna pass out in the theater at that point. I was like, whoa! I was like, that sucks.
I mean, that'd be fair. It depends on your level of squeamishness when it comes to
I don't know. Some movies I'm okay with, other ones I'm not. There are times I could watch Saw 50 times and be like, yeah, whatever. And then there's times I'll watch Saw and I'm like the same movie and I'm like, this is fucking gross. I don't want to watch this shit. It just depends on my mood.
Well, Saw is basically torture porn. The first one was actually really good.
The first one was great. The first 2 were good. Then after that, they started to get silly.
I mean, they've all been silly after the first one. Second one, I liked fairly decently. But I haven't watched all of them. There's too many of them.
I like the second one.
Stop it.
Yeah, well, after to get to I think they're up to 7 or something like that now, which is just absolutely asinine.
It's more than that.
Is it? Oh my god!
Because now they keep going back in time. Jigsaw's been dead since
the second one, right? Didn't they kill him at the end of the second one?
Wasn't that the whole thing? That or the third?
Well, maybe it was the third. I don't know.
But timeline-wise, it's technically after the second one.
Got it.
But they keep going back.
Oh,
that's how they are able to say, "Oh well, here's how we can justify it," because
every time I see that stupid little clown, I was like, just punt it. Just fucking punt it. You see that thing on the tripod. Would you like to play a game? I love that. You ever see that? If Jigsaw was your roommate skit, I think it was the college humor one or something.
I think so.
He was there are mouse traps in the bathroom, and you have to take a shit. I fed you a laxative. What? What are you talking about? It's just all shit that's mildly inconvenient. You know what I mean?
Shit your pants or cry.
Yeah, shit your pants or put your toe in a mouse trap. What the fuck? But anyway,
I'll just shit my pants.
Yeah, I mean at this point, who cares?
I'm not above that.
I mean, who's gonna judge me? A fucking midget clown on a tricycle? What the fuck? Trust me, buddy. I've been judged by way harsher.
Listen, you already got me in here. I already was here under my own accord. I was cranking my hog. Now if I got a shit pant, why not?
It's funny. I have a buddy at work he was wondering. He was like, I sent him a meme the other day about cranking hogs. And like it was just like, you know, dudes like what like women like at social events. They're like, I don't know what to talk to her about. I'm so awkward. And it's like guys at social events. It's like I was cranking my hog, hog. And it's like all guys talking about cranking their hogs.
Fully torqued.
And he's just like, dude. He's like, I didn't know if anybody even said hog anymore. Like I thought I was the only one. I was like, nope.
I mean, up until 2012, I thought SMH was an acronym for suck my hog.
That makes a shit more ton sense than shaking my head. I don't know. I thought
might as well shake my hog too. Like,
yeah, it's like, what'd you do after you pissed? SMH.
Shake my hog.
You know, just gonna make sure it works. Make sure it's dry. There's no dribble. You know?
That's physically impossible. Doesn't matter how many times you shake it or slam it up against the side of the stall. As soon as you put it past your zipper back into your pants. There's at least two drops that come out.
It's just science.
It's science. It's science.
Yeah. So this is the adult table, but obviously the topics are extremely immature. Very serious topics. Very serious.
Well, yeah, you wanted to talk about Diddy.
Yeah, so let's do a little Diddy talk because I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like between this and the Epstein list, this is the closest we're going to get. Like the Epstein list, I think is locked under like I think it's like at the end of like whatever Indiana Jones, or like it's in a crate and they disappear into the
top men.
Top men, Lois. Top men. I feel like that's where the Epstein list is, and we're never going to get it. But I feel like the Diddy list would be like a nice consolation prize, but especially when you look at the names on it or the list of potential names. And I'm just pulling this off of Twitter. And again, there's, you know, like they said, this is nothing to say, like, you know, there's no such thing as, you know, we don't believe in guilt by association here. However, when you look at the list of names of people who have attended Diddy's parties, Drake, Oprah, J-Lo, A-Rod, Will Smith, Alicia Keys, Bieber, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kim Kardashian, Kanye, Naomi Campbell, Mary J. Blige, Swizz Beatz, Dr. Dre, Travis Scott, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop, Lil Kim, The Weeknd. Who the fuck? Like, that's like, they feel like the most random name on this list. Kevin Hart, Aniko Parrish, whoever that is, Post Malone, Taylor Swift, Pink, and my favorite, LeBron James. Now,
it's all really insanely famous people.
Yeah, and not only that, but like we know Diddy called these parties freak offs. We know people got drugged and plugged. Like there is. So what was going on? And like, were these people involved in those parties? Were they not involved in those types of parties? Were there like different levels to these parties? Like, was this like, oh, hey, this is a freak off, or this is just a normal casual, like, you know, gangbang? Like, I don't know.
Who was there just to watch? Who was participating? Who was coerced?
Yeah, like,
participating?
Was there a gallery? Like, was it like, you know, the Masters, where they're like, oh, she fit 3 penises in. Golf claps.
Yes,
very good.
Yes.
Oh, he's going to town on Prince Henry again. Well done.
Yes. Jolly good.
Which Prince Henry was another one that wasn't on that particular list, but I've seen his name floated around a bunch too. And like, you know, allegedly, apparently, there's some videos out there.
Apparently he mostly did not participate in most of the acts himself. He just videotaped it.
So I did hear that he is a raging homosexual, and that he used to like to drug men and groom younger men, including like Meek Mill, Justin Bieber. And a couple. There's like other ones that like, and then there's the reports of his bodyguard, where he was like, you know, they were talking about, I don't know if you remember like when the whole Will Smith thing came out, but this is kind of like coming full circle, when the whole Will Smith being gay thing like kind of came. It was right after he got up and slapped Chris Rock and all that.
Right.
And
after he was already established as basically being a bitch to Jada.
Right. And I think, I don't remember if it was, I forget who it was, but one of the rappers or somebody was just like, yo, we were at a party, and he's like, and he had Will Smith bent over the couch, and he was straight murdering him. Like, it was a murder scene. And like, I should go find the interview. We talked about it on my podcast, but like, he was like, it was Miami. It was a straight murder scene. And the way he's describing it was just like, it was just violent butt sex. But apparently they were both conscious and willing participants, but it was just some rough shit.
But Diddy obviously was getting something very gratifying out of dominating this person.
Either that, or he was getting something that he was worth its weight 10 times in gold by having it on film.
Exactly. The whole film, aspect of it leads credence to. Oh shit! I have all this on. Yeah, you participated in it,
but yeah, also. Can't throw stones when you live in the glass house, homeboy. And I mean, if you listen to like 50 and Eminem and like all these guys, they've been like dogging Diddy for years about this stuff. Like, this is nothing new. So like they've been like kind of throwing shade at Diddy for a long time. And then you get on to like the other stuff and you're like, all right, how far back does this go? And like you said, Bert, like earlier when we were trying to fix the audio issues, like was like who benefited the most from Biggie's death? Diddy, obviously.
And we Tupac, all know, and Tupac's as well.
Yeah, I mean, like Tupac died, and then the whole Biggie, Bad Boy Records.
Suge Knight's also locked up.
Yep, Suge Knight was talking about it from jail. Like, I mean, Suge Knight's still a shot caller among shot callers. He's doing interviews now. Like, this whole shit's getting wild, and I'm wondering, like, maybe Tupac's alive. Maybe he's on Epstein Island, and he's just, he had to go away. Because he knew too much. So they were like, he knows too much about these freak-offs, and now we got to get him out of here. So they staged this whole thing. I don't know how deep this shit goes.
Well, where is he now if he was on Epstein Island? Because that...
Well, I mean,
what became of the island?
I'm sure Epstein has multiple islands. I mean, if you have an island where you do this kind of stuff, I would have to imagine that you have, like, an even more secret island.
Perhaps. I mean, he killed himself. So we'll never know.
Right. Exactly.
But I mean,
we know where that
with his list too, which is why I'm apprehensive to say anything major will come out of this Diddy list. Because Ghislaine is Ghislaine, however you pronounce it.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
She's still locked up. She's still alive.
Somehow.
It's just nothing has come of. Her trial and sentencing.
Well, I think, her trial and sentencing. I think her trial and sentencing implements, or I think the Epstein list. I feel like that list is more political figures.
Implications.
I think there's more political
because of the people.
Yeah, I think there's more political people on there, more powerful people. Whereas Diddy's list is more Hollywood. You know what I mean? So you have like your Hollywood elites, which okay, they're cool. Like Oprah's cool, she's influential, but she's not Bill Clinton. And she's not, Cocaine Mitch or, Al Gore, whatever. Like, she's not like a figurehead of, George Bush. Like,
she's not directly involved in politics.
Right, exactly.
She's not in charge of
politicians take extra steps to keep themselves squeaky clean. I mean, look at.
But Oprah's been a goddamn institution for decades at this point, too. So predating social media.
But the thing is she's Hollywood, and they can just create another one. You know what I mean? They'll just create another Oprah, and the powers that be will push her to the top. They'll make her into the new thing, and they'll just say, "Listen, man, that's it. Like, there you go. Like, here's your new Oprah. Like, forget about the old one. We don't care about her. She was a jerk. She went to Diddy freak-offs and watched people get drugged and plugged. Like."
Well, she's already been connected to so many other sketchy things that still hasn't been completely written off yet. She was basically feeding actresses to Harvey Weinstein.
Right, and I think also too, like when you look at all that whole situation in Hawaii last year, where just very specific sections were vaporized, if you will, and then Oprah's out there like, hey, donate money. Like, we're like, bitch, you're buying the property. Like, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, hasn't it already come to light that she and other big time people in Hollywood did a similar thing after some wildfires in California?
Yeah,
they started buying up that real estate.
This whole act has been going on forever. Like, how do you get people off? Like, well, we can't just remove the indigenous population. Oh, yes, we can. We could just burn it all to the ground, let the insurance display, and then they get displaced, and then they obviously can't buy back the property at its current rate from the insurance company, or we'll just have the insurance, price it like, it's like when your car gets totaled and your car is totaled. The insurance company says like, all right, we're going to give you $3,500, or you can buy it back for $3,000 and fix it yourself.
Yeah.
What I mean? all the insurance company has to do, if the right people are in the right pockets, is say like, okay, well, your house was, you did buy it for $175,000 30 years ago, but now it's worth like $12.8 million. Do you have that to pay? Oh, you don't? Guess you're going to take this, $700,000 check and just fuck off and go buy something else, Meanwhile, here comes Oprah and The Rock, and they're like, we're just going to buy all this property. I mean, Bill Gates and everybody else that was like, there's no other island in the Pacific. I just want this one right here, this piece, this inhabited piece. We could go find 1 million acres that are uninhabited, but this is the one that I want.
It's got to be right here. Have you seen these views?
Yeah, like just fuck all these peons, man. And I feel like they do it because you want to talk about being bricked up. Like, these people get bricked up off of power, like just left and right. You know what I mean? They get boners for it. Scumbags.
Absolutely.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and these people have more power and money, and it's never enough. Like, you'd have all the money in the world, but it's like, what's having $12 bajillion in the bank if like I can't have sex with children?
Well, I think yes, at a certain point.
Excuse me for a second. I gotta grab more whiskey.
Yes.
It stops being about money, and it's about power and control.
100%. And I think that's what this Diddy list is coming down to. Is it's about, I think, like, it's a control thing, and they like, I think,
absolutely,
people, something happened, somebody rolled, said something they weren't supposed to say, or did something, or tipped somebody off that they weren't supposed to tip off, or something happened, something fucky happened, and then they went and they grabbed Diddy, they snapped him up. And I just hope he goes full heel and just exposes everybody.
Well, he made the really dumb decision to for some reason come back to the United States.
I don't think that decision. I think that was calculated. I don't think that was by accident. I mean, he's rich and famous enough, and has enough money where he could just disappear for the rest of his life.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean.
So I feel like him coming back to the United States and allowing all this to happen was for a reason, which is why I'm like just allowing myself to be very cautiously optimistic that this list will be like, enough will come of this list just to satiate my cravings to see people in high castles crumble.
Well, you do have a good point there. It could be calculated on his part because otherwise, why do it? He's got to have an ace up his sleeve. He's a bargaining chip.
He's always got an angle. Guys like that always have angles. Like, and plus, you don't have potentially hundreds of hours of film of famous people doing horrendous things and not use it to, like, don't cash that in at some point.
Exactly.
So let's just hope the cash in is beneficial to all of us, so we can just sit there and be like, oh, you guys are fucked.
I mean, it's certainly interesting, especially because of how everything's, a lot of speculation, but how Hollywood has been for a long time now, and now finally people are starting to talk about it. Other people have before, and were either blacklisted, not taken seriously. In certain topics, especially like sexual assault on males, 20, 30 years ago was a taboo thing. Look at the Menendez brothers trials. They didn't really want to talk about, the potential abuse that they endured. Because back then the stigma on it was just like, oh, you're male and that happened to you. Yeah.
It's like, not only you gay, you're weak too. Double down.
What a fucking pussy.
Yeah, right? It's like, nowadays things are different. There's like, it's like, oh no, like, men talk about their feelings, and like, I mean, I don't, but some guys do, and they're like, oh no, like, I feel sad, and you're like, oh, that sucks, and they're like, oh no, and therapy and blah blah blah, whatever. But like, I mean, just like from a workplace standpoint, like, look at like Terry Crews. Like all the shit he's been like, dude, he's been like, I've been like propositioned for sex more times than I can fucking imagine. And he's like, if the shoe was on the other foot, like, I'd be in jail.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, if I said to the women the things they said to me, like, I would be out of this industry, and like, I'd be out. He's like, it's okay when it happens to guys.
Or it's more dismissed.
100%. I thought, like, because everybody's like you said, like, guys, we don't talk about our feelings. That's fucking gay, bro. Like,
and especially a guy like Terry Crews. What is he like? 6'4"?
Yeah, fucking 6'4", 260, yoked as fuck. Like,
absolute unit.
Just the pec dance. I mean, he's Debo, bro. Like, he's.
Oh, he wasn't Debo. That was Tiny Lister.
He's not Debo. I'm thinking of the other one.
Friday after next, the Christmas one.
Fuck was his name? Damien? Ooh, Tupac.
You fine as hell.
We got about 90 seconds left on this feed. Do you want me to? Do you want to start a new meeting? We'll do one last topic.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna kill this. We're gonna kill the feed here for like 2 minutes. We'll be back. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a quick piss, grab some ice and another soda water, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Sound good?
Send it.
All right.
Yeah. So Joe is doing his thing.
Well, I gotta end the Zoom meeting. That's the only problem. Because we're running out of. Yeah, we got less than a minute on Zoom. We have to do a new meeting.
Yeah, I thought you already ended it.
Nope. Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Hold on.
That's fine. Yeah. So while Joe is doing that, let's take a look at some updates on the Diddy stuff. So as of today, this was published today via CNN. I just went with the first thing. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs are appealing the federal judge's decision to deny the music mogul bail and place him in custody according to a two-page notice of appeal filed Monday. Comes is currently incarcerated in a criminal trial after being arrested earlier this month on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He pleaded not guilty to the charges. Combs' lawyers previously asked the judge to release the rapper a $50 million bond, home detention and limit on visitors. Judge Andrew Carter rejected the proposal, setting with federal prosecutors who argue that Combs is a danger to the community in a flight risk, which has already been proven. The judge said one of his biggest concerns was allegations that Combs attempted to tamper with witnesses who had been contacted by prosecutors as part of the investigation. A magistrate judge initially denied bail. His attorney then asked Carter, who will oversee the trial to release the hip-hop artist. Monday's notice of appeal was filed by attorneys Anthony Rico and Alexander Shapiro, who are new additions to Combs' legal team, signaling that he is bolstering his defense as he looks ahead to a trial. Rico and Shapiro joined attorney Mark Nafilo, whatever. He has been representing the Battle Rack Mogul for months. As Combs has faced a flurry of civil lawsuits under federal investigation. Combs is being held at the Metropolitan Detention in Brooklyn, New York, in a dorm-style room where he shares space with FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried and the former president of Honduras. Which is a hilarious thing. He's in jail with that asshole. That Sam Bankman-Fried guy. So as Joe and I were talking about, it's all just allegations at this point. So much going on that it just seems like it's how could this not be true to some extent? Just not all of it, but a good chunk of it. And what did he have to gain out of it? Again. He benefited the most out of Biggie and Tupac dying. So all signs point to that happening. Looks like Joe is ready to go again. You good, brother?
We're good.
All right, yeah. I gotta fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah, so for future reference, I'll just have to fucking adjust this if we have to start that up again, but it's not a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to figure out a way to get around that. I mean, I can always subscribe to it and just put it on the show card and end up being a write-off anyway. So
either way, I
don't think it's that expensive.
We'll make it work. But so far, I think not too bad.
No, we just work on the appearance, and then when we have like some topics and stuff, we'll bring some video, audio, and
So while you were away, I did bring up a recent article about just an update on how things are going for him. Nothing too big.
Okay.
Just how his lawyers wanted to have a $50 million bond with home detention, limits on visitors to things, but the judge just said, no, fuck you talking about. Specifically, the judge said, or the prosecutors, that Combs is a danger to the community and a flight risk.
I mean, yes and yes.
But yeah, we can move on from that. I think we.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend a ton of time on it.
Yeah, there's no new major updates on it.
No, so it's just fun to talk about because we all know who killed Biggie and Pac now.
Or at least played a role in it for sure. So the other hot button issue you want to talk about was the good old debate happening tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we can do that. I always enjoy some good political banter. Political bants, if you will.
Well, the thing is with this one too, I really don't care because it's the VPs.
Right. So, again, like the thing with a VP, and I think everybody knows this, like they can't. In most traditional senses, they can't help you. They can only hurt you. You know, from if you're the main, like, you know, if in this case, you look at Kamala inexplicably chose Tampon Tim to be her VP, which everybody knew it should have been Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, but she couldn't pick him because that's who the Obamas wanted. That's who the Clintons wanted her to pick. That's who Pelosi wanted her to pick. Schumer wanted her to pick. And her camp decided to go with Tampon Tim instead. The reason they couldn't pick Josh Shapiro is because he's Jewish, and that would have pissed off the entire squad and all of their support delegates.
Because they're so pro-Palestine.
Yes, because obviously, you know, we've gone from, you know, 23 years ago, 23 years and a couple of weeks ago, it was Never Forget, you know, to now where CNN and the Associated Press and all these major mainstream media outlets are mourning the loss of the leader of Hezbollah. Like where did we go so wrong? I just don't understand it. But
and that's the thing too. I don't like either side involved in this.
I mean, listen. I will always say this. I've had Jewish friends growing up. I'll always be pro-Israel. They've always been our only ally really in the Middle East. So from a geopolitical standpoint, like I've always sided with Israel. I always will. The way they conduct business, listen, when you live with apes, man, it's tough to be clean, to quote one of the great lyricists of our times.
I get. You gotta do what you gotta do, especially in that area, which has been a hotbed for war since the dawn of civilization.
Oh, I don't know, since like Xerxes. I mean, come on, man. 300 was a documentary.
Before that.
I'm kidding, it wasn't. But seriously, though, it should have been. But no, it's you're right. It's just that's how that area of the world has been. It's always been like that. I mean, the whole human history runs through that section of the world. And it's never been a place of peace and prosperity. It's always been war and
I get that there are allies, and that's fine.
But even if you want to go down that road, like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing too. I also am not on board with what Palestine is doing and how they're handling anything.
I'm I'm of the standpoint of #Pave Gaza. Like I don't give a fuck.
Make it a glass.
Yeah, like this, like. And again, I think a lot of people don't know the history of Palestine and the Gaza Strip and everything else. And like, I'm not like a super expert on it, but I know enough like to know that
same.
Like they gave the Palestinians, like they gave them the Gaza Strip back in 2005, and they were like, "Oh, thanks, you finally gave us the Holy Land we wanted. Here's 100 rockets." Like that was how they repaid them, and so that's why Israel has the Iron Dome. They're under rocket attack all the time, like blah 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 blah. We all know what goes on, but Hezbollah, everybody's like, well, it's not the Palestinian people. It's Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Yes, that the Palestinian people voted in. Like, it's like the old saying, like you can vote your way into socialism, but you can't vote your way out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except socialism in this case is a terrorist organization. It's a criminal organization. So you're not going to have fun with that. That's not going to be a good thing for you. So for me, I just don't. I don't see where people get like, listen, if you want to be like, man, like, Israel's pretty fucked up. Like they do some fucked up shit. We really shouldn't be like, funding them or promoting them, whatever. Like, okay, listen, I could disagree to disagree on that. But it's when you go and you're like free Palestine and you're pro Hezbollah and you're literally supporting a literal terrorist organization. Like just change it out with ISIS, the Taliban, whatever. That's what you're rooting for.
Yeah, when this whole more recent chain of events started a year ago, last October
7th last year actually was when the Palestinians paraglided into a concert and raped, murdered, and killed 1,500 innocent Israeli civilians.
Yep, took a number of them hostage as well, and then later killed them,
including, I believe, 7 Americans.
Yeah, it's so that when people are like, oh yeah, they're on the right for doing that. It's like, what are you talking about? Two wrongs don't make a right here.
And not only that, but I typically am not going to side with the people that paraglide into concerts where like kids are dropping Molly and acid and just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, this isn't a military base that they
it wasn't like they went after like the IDF. No, like you went after like. That's the biggest thing about, and of course we all know that that's what terrorists do, right? They go after soft targets. But like 9/11, same thing. The one time they tried it once with the USS Cole, and they got a couple of U.S. service members, and they were like, that's not enough. We didn't even sink the ship. Fuck. So then they decided to fly 2 planes into a couple buildings and kill 3,000 innocent civilians instead. And it's like that's what they do. You go back, you look at even in Europe with the Bataclan. The Charlie Hebdo thing. Like there's so many examples of these terrorists. They don't go after military or police targets or government targets. They go after innocent civilians, people sitting in cafes or at concerts or like, at sporting events. Like that's what they do, and it's just, it's frustrating when you see people who they support that or they come out in support of that. And they're like, no, these people, they're innocent here. I'm like, no, they literally just committed like an act of genocide and just murdered 1,500 people for no reason. Dragged their bodies through the streets after they were done raping them. Like, it was horrific. There's no innocence there.
Other than the people that just happen to be Palestinian and have no say in it. And I just want to live my life, but I don't control. What our leadership does.
But again, they voted that leadership in at one point or another. Exactly. So, maybe there's some kids in Palestine right now that are like, fuck, like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. But they've probably been so conditioned to believe that this is how it is and that they're on the right side of history and everything anyway, that they're unreachable. And if they speak out, because you can't speak out against the regime over there, you get killed. No. So that's how it goes. So it's very cult-esque. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and they say that I'm in a cult because I voted for Trump.
Oh, I know, I love that. That's hilarious. It's like, I know, damn, like I want a secure border and lower taxes. What a fucking asshole.
Jesus Christ.
I am so self-centered. Oh my God.
Literally. Although I do have a shirt that says that, and I probably wear it. I've been called it enough times.
Same.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, listen, we've both been called a Nazi so many times by one of our former teachers at this point now on social media that I've just become numb to it. So it just like doesn't even bother me anymore. Our unhinged drunken history teacher from high school.
He was a sub when I was there.
He wasn't a full timer. I think he was. He was a very new or part timer when I was there too. But my brothers had him like afterwards, And I'm sure you're watching, Jim, because I know you like to hate watch. So hi. But you know, I like it's back to the VP thing. They should have chose Josh Shapiro because he's the more intelligent, more well-spoken, more articulate, just a better candidate overall. But it was going to piss off the entire squad, so they couldn't. So they had to go with Tampon Tim Walz, who, by the way, got booed at the Michigan-Minnesota game on Saturday.
Yep, and there was footage of him flipping people off that were booing him.
It was like Trump 2024, and he flipped them off. And I'm like, and listen, I'm okay with that. Listen, you want to tell me to my face Trump 2024? I'm gonna tell you right there, buddy. You know,
I respect that.
I do too, to a degree. Like you kind of just have to begrudgingly respect it. Where you're like, all right, well, he's sticking to his guns on this one.
It's the people that are blindly behind him just because he was the choice.
Well,
I don't like. They're willing to ignore
party over people.
They're like, I'm never not voting for the convicted felon, meaning Donald Trump. I brought up on several comment threads saying, well, I guess by that logic, you also can't vote for Walz as VP because he's a convicted felon with his DUI.
Well, there you go.
But they don't like talking about that.
That's not the same. And no, of course they don't. And like, you know, the easiest way to ruin like a liberal's day is just like ask them one simple question. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Just ask them a question like, why do you like Kamala Harris? And don't use the word Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They can't.
They lose their shit. Like I had a woman accost me at a local watering hole the other day down at Padanaram. I had my Make America Great Again t-shirt. And this woman comes over and she's like, do you believe in the message? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? She's like, the message. And I'm like, you're being a little
obtuse.
Yeah, you're gonna have to narrow it down there, sweetie. Like I don't know what
super vague.
And like and I'm like, oh fuck, did I like just like get one of these like QAnon weirdos to come over and like talk to me because I had like a MAGA shirt on? Like I'm like, all right, like I'm all like cool, like same side, like whatever, but like yeah, I don't really want to talk to you about it. And then she's like, do you have a wife? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, and she's okay with you wearing that shirt? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't she be? And she's like, oh, because you don't care about women and their rights. And I just asked her, I said, what rights did you lose or will you lose under a Donald Trump administration? And she just goes, you're a fucking idiot, and fucking like walks away. And I'm like, and I said, and just like that, with one simple question, you can ruin a liberal's day. Because once you ask them, once you remove the emotion from their arguments,
there's no logic.
They have no logic or reason behind it. They have no substance. It never holds up. And anytime they bring up a thing, well, this and that and blah blah blah, whatever it is, and you just like you can just poke holes in it for days. You know, no matter what the specific is. So I'm looking forward to the VP debate tomorrow night in a big way, mostly because I feel like J.D. Vance is going to do to Tim Walz what everybody wanted Trump to do to Kamala, but Trump can't do to Kamala because of the optics of Trump going all in on a minority woman the way that like he would if it was like he can't sit there and like, you know, he's like and call like it's little Marco. You know, we call him Little Marco in Florida, Little Marco Rubio, you know. Like, he can't do those things with Kamala.
She's a woman of color.
Exactly. And you know how the media is going to spin it. And all he had to do was sit there and just say, like, and he did say it at the end, you know, in his closing argument. He was like, you know, you keep promising to fix this country, but you've been running it for 4 years. Why haven't you fixed it already?
Yeah, and that's the other argument they like to bring up. Like, Trump's going to destroy the country and be a dictator, but keep taking everything he says out of context. But also, if he wanted to do that, why didn't he do it in his run?
Right. Why didn't he do it?
And then why hasn't Kamala and also Joe Biden done anything to fix?
Right, which I think we all forget that Joe Biden is actually still the president. By the way.
Yes.
I think everybody forgets that. Like he's just not here. He's absent. This is like. There's been lame duck presidents before, but this is the lamest of the ducks. Like he's just like sunning himself on a fucking beach in Delaware, and Kamala's out acting like she's the incumbent, and it's like, who the fuck is running this country right now?
That's not how it works. And she was handed the fucking candidacy.
Right. They didn't have a primary. They didn't. I mean, and that's the other thing too. If I'm a Democrat right now, I'm pissed. Because there is going to be like 50 other people more qualified than her to run for this position. And like I know why they had to do it because all the campaign finances, the way it works. Like,
well, it's easier to funnel it right to her.
Well, she was the only one that could take it. Like I think they had I think it was upwards like $150 million they had already raised for Joe Biden, and if it doesn't go to him the way the laws work, it couldn't go to anybody. They couldn't just be like, all right, Josh Shapiro, you're going to run for president now. Here's the $150 million. It has to go to Kamala because she campaigned with him. So she had the money. She had the facto. Yeah, she had the trump card in that sense. So I get why they did it, but also like, why wouldn't you, if you were that desperate, like if you knew she was that bad of a candidate, which she is, why didn't you primary her? Or why didn't you hold a primary and let everybody primary Joe Biden back when you should have anyway?
Well, I'll tell you why. You notice the timing on when that decision was made, right?
Right. And back in August?
It was after Trump totally destroyed Biden in the debate.
Oh, of course. That was a setup from Jump Street.
So it happened after that. But it also happened after the first failed assassination attempt on Trump.
Correct.
Like within a week of that.
So that was July 13th. I think the DNC was August 20 something. So it was about 5-6 weeks later was when they announced. I think, when did they announce Kamala?
It was before the DNC.
It was before they did. Yeah, it was, because then the DNC is when they
because the RNC happened like a few days after
Trump got shot.
Yes.
It was, I think, July 20 something was the RNC, and then because then we had the Hulkamania and everything else, which was fucking rad as fuck.
Hell yeah.
But they had that. So then, then the RNC. So they announced it before the DNC, and then at the DNC, everybody pledged to be, that. Yep, she's the one.
Yeah, and in between that was the head of Secret Service, the director there,
Kimberly Cheadle.
Yeah, her getting absolutely demolished. In court,
which I still can't believe she was allowed to resign and not fired. Like, that to me is just beyond fucking wild. But again, it just goes to show you how deep this thing goes.
That's what I'm saying. So look at the timing of all of this. And again, this is all opinion, speculation. I can't say this with any kind of sincere certainty. But it all looks. However, it looks all too well planned out. The way the Secret Service just didn't do their job that day. And tight-lipped on everything, even while being questioned in court. And then the second one happens, and it's not even talked about as much. Although that shooter was taken into custody. We're still awaiting whatever the fuck.
Yeah, this guy, a guy who had made several trips over to Ukraine, was recruiting people to fight against Russia for the Ukrainians, had ties to Iran. All sorts of really weird fucky shit, and there's no way in hell that guy knew exactly where to post up 12 hours prior to the president being there on what is considered an off the record visit, because that was an off the record visit to that golf course. Which is what the Secret Service refers to as OTRs. It's when the president says, you know what, we got nothing to do. Yeah, I want to go play golf. Like, let's go. And they're like, fuck, all right, guess we're securing a golf course. And they have to go and do that. So this guy knew at least 12 hours before
that Trump was planning
on playing golf that day, which leads me to believe that there's somebody within the Secret Service that is leaking there's a mole, and they're getting that stuff out there to the people that need to hear it. And this guy was able to post up at the exact spot where everybody goes, like usually the media goes to take pictures and get snaps of the president. Because they have access to it. But he was able to not only penetrate like the outer perimeter, but like the inner perimeter of the security and get within, very realistic range of killing. I mean, you get within 150, 200 yards of a human target with any kind of long gun, whether it's AK platform. I think this was an SKS that this guy had. I'm not sure the caliber, whether it's 5.56, 7.62, but it doesn't matter. 200 yards is a very makeable shot with that gun.
Yeah, no pun intended, but a chip shot.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with, I can hit 200 yards with my 7-iron, and let alone an SKS. So especially depending on the optics. This guy had plates of, GoPro, like he was set up ready to go.
Yeah, he had the GoPro set up specifically so he could record him doing the deed.
Exactly. And then what do all terrorist organizations have in common? They all film the executions and the assassinations. Why? Because then they use it for propaganda over and over and over again. We've seen it throughout history 1,000 times. What was this guy planning on doing? Somebody was going to get that video. Somebody was going to use it for propaganda, whether it was, and I mean, for me, the most sense that makes is the Iranians, because he killed Soleimani. They want revenge for that.
Yeah, and there was the talk just before the RNC, like the day of that. They had received word that there might have been a potential terrorist attack or assassination attempt. Done by somebody connected to Iran.
Correct. So it's not like this is anything new or breaking, but I feel like a lot of people don't know about that. If like you're not paying attention actively, like kind of on a day-to-day basis, it's one of those things that's easy to slip through the cracks. Because if you're not, depending where you're getting your information from, that's not necessarily like one that you're not going to see that on MSNBC or CBS or NBC or CNN. That's one of those ones like you're not, and people always like, they love to cast off like Fox News, like, and people always give me like, oh, shut off Fox News. I'm like, dude, I haven't watched Fox News unless it was like on accident since like probably, I don't know, Sandy Hook. You know what I mean? Because that was
the only time I did in recent years was occasionally watch Tucker.
Mm.
But that's
even then, I would just watch the stream. I wouldn't even watch Fox News. I would listen to it. You know what I mean? But I never watch Fox News. I don't get my information from there. I get my information from various other, mostly things I find through Twitter or X, which who knew Elon Musk was going to be the hero this country needed? But here we are. But
I'm still not on board with electric cars.
But listen, I'm not on board. I'm not on board with electric cars, but I'm not on board with electric cars yet. They are really rad though. Teslas are pretty rad. Like my buddy had one, and it drove us home from a restaurant like 30 miles away, and it drove like hands free, just drove us home all the way. I was like, stop at every stop sign.
They still need to work on that a little bit. I think.
They do, but it was just like it was really, really kind of rad to see, and I was like, whoa.
I did ride in one as an Uber last year when I went to Kansas City, and I asked the driver, "It's like, hey, how fast can you open this thing up? We're getting on the highway, right?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll show you."
Yeah,
and yeah, we got up to 80 very quick.
Yeah, one of my other buddies had like the one that has like there's like the next level up. It's not the base one, but like the fast not the fast one, but the fast one. And like we took off, and like it's instant torque. So there's no like it's like being in the. It's so funny because like I'm a big CTSV guy. I'm a big Cadillac guy. And you go on like the CTSV forums or the Dodge Charger forums, the Challenger forums, the Camaros, like whatever. And there's like a sticky at the top of every thread. It's like, do not fucking race Teslas. You're going to lose in a quarter mile. Like
they get you right up
because there's no waiting. It's instantaneous. And like, yeah, while they might not trap as fast as your car at the end, they're still going to beat you because they're
in a drag quarter mile thing. Yeah,
so they're like, stop being a fucking idiot and racing them. And everybody's like, oh, okay, but I could beat him. I have 1,000 horsepower. No, you can't. Shut up. Stop. You're stupid. That's not how physics works. But I digest. But like back to the whole VP thing. I think Tim Walz is going to be. I think we're gonna see tomorrow night. I think tomorrow night is going to deliver the beating that everybody hoped we were going to see in a presidential debate. And I think because JD Vance is, he's much, I think he's a much better debater than Trump is. Like Trump's a good debater, but not when he's handcuffed. You know what I mean? Trump needs to have open mics. He
also can't help himself sometimes.
And yeah, he's going to be able to throw like the zingers in. I mean, like, come on, like when, the mic drop moment of the 2016 campaign was when he said to Hillary, like, yeah, because you'd be in jail. And everybody's like, oh shit.
Holy
like,
shit.
Now they're like, yeah, we're not letting him get that because, like my boy Dan Bongino always says, what's a campaign consist of? Sound bites and snapshots. And you get those two things working in your favor, and that's all people see or hear.
Well, and hopefully in this debate, because I will be watching it, we get some answers because in the last one between Kamala and Trump, they both did a good share of just dancing around the questions that were asked and embellishing in the response and not kind of really getting to the point.
Well, I think Trump did a better job. I mean, Trump gave answers. He might not have given the answers that people, for whatever reason, I feel like people held Trump to like a much higher standard than they did Kamala, because Kamala didn't answer anything.
Oh, she absolutely did.
You know, like, I cannot wait until I get in trouble at work, and when they ask me like what happened, I'm just gonna be like, so I was raised in a middle class family, and I'm just gonna like just pull that out and because that's all she had. She had no substance. Like, Trump has plans because Trump has done it before. We saw what 4 years of Trump looked like.
And he wasn't even able to do everything because he was constantly being stymied.
Could you imagine if they had let Trump just do his thing? Like, could you imagine where this country would be? Like, we'd probably have flying cars by now. You know what I mean? Like, poverty would be a thing of the past. Like, we'd have flying cars. You know, everybody would be fucking. It'd be like we'd look like Abu Dhabi. We're like,
well, what's that?
And
then the pandemic happened.
You could only afford the 2023 McLaren. You broke fuck. Like,
it would still be a mess because of COVID. But I think he would have handled it better in terms of getting things back to normal faster.
Listen, I could sit here and harp on Trump, and I could tell you some things, some mistakes he made, but especially with COVID. I feel like that was his biggest mistake of his campaign or his presidency was listening to Fauci and Birx, like those two clowns. I mean, his first order of business should have been like, you're fired. Like, we're not doing this. No, I mean, this isn't a thing, because a week and a half before, it was like a matter of 10 days. And the Democrats went from go to Chinatown and hug a Chinese person to we need to shut the country down immediately.
Yep.
Like, it was like that quick. It was like overnight. And they were like, don't buy masks because, the people in the hospitals need them. You don't need them in the public to buy masks now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, remember the riot?
But then you have to have something covering your face if you're going to go out.
Yeah. And it was just like, what the fuck? Like, no, I don't. Like, no.
And then all the bullshit at restaurants and bars. You have to wear your mask when you're up until you're seated.
Yeah. Wear it to the table. And then you're going to sit down 18 inches from 12 other people, and then you can take it off.
Even if there's plexiglass between you or not, what does putting it back on just to stand up and go to the bathroom or leave?
The whole mask thing was so fucking ridiculous. Which, again, this is why when people are like, when my Democrat friends are like, oh, they're like, we just want the rhetoric to die down, and we want just to go back to normal civility. I'm like, no. Civility went out the window when you started fucking like wanting me kicked out of the supermarket for walking the wrong way down an aisle.
Yep.
Civility went out the window when you would chastise me and rip me and try to, have like call the cops on me for not wearing a mask in the liquor store. Like, and these are real stories. Like, those are two things that actually happened to me. Like, I had a guy tell my mother in Stop and Shop because she was walking the wrong way up an aisle, like unwittingly just went up an aisle. Didn't realize the masking tape arrow on the ground that was pointing away, and the guy was like, "You're gonna get somebody fucking killed." And my mother's like,
"Just because she walked the opposite direction."
Yes, that's how, like, so whenever these people are like, "Oh, we want civility and we want things to return to normal," nah, dude, fuck you. Like, I didn't forget how you treated us during that. And by us, I mean the people that had 3 functioning brain cells and could figure out that, like, let's see, I don't know a whole lot about biology or microbiology, but I know, like, this shitty piece of paper over my face isn't going to do anything to stop the threat of the most deadly virus in the history of humans. So not going to wear that. Also, you're not going to stick me at home. Like, no, like, I'm not playing by your stupid rules.
No, the thing is it spread fast, but we didn't know enough about it, and I understand the cautiousness initially.
If they had come out in like June or July of that year and were like, "Hey, listen, like, shit got a little out of hand. We didn't really know what we were up against. Sorry, but like, hey, we can go back to normal. Like, hey, we're good. Well,
but didn't hit us. The mandates didn't hit us until March.
Correct. So, like, when the mandates hit in March, and then, like, I'm saying, like, April, June, April, May, June, like June, July, if they were like, listen, we don't really need this. It's not working anyway. Shit's not as bad as we thought.
Well, they didn't want to admit it.
But that's the thing. They didn't. Instead of doing that, they just doubled and tripled down on everything because they had an election coming up. They needed mail-in balloting, and that's a whole nother fucking discussion we could get into. But we'll save that for a different show, because we got about 9 minutes left on this one. But it just got to a point where, like, if people had just come out and said, like, "Hey, our bad," I at least could have been like, "All right, you're fucking dumb for believing this in the first place, but at least you're willing to own your mistake and like say like, my bad."
Well, yeah, most of them have not said. I know some that have, but a lot haven't. And
dude, I mean,
there's also the fear mongering.
I lost friends over this. Like people
same.
stopped talking to me, like told me to fuck off, don't talk to me, like don't come around me, like whatever. Like, I mean, unfriended me on social media, blocked me, like the whole night was. I don't give a flying fuck. But that's because that's how I am. Like if that's what did it for you, then you're probably doing me a favor anyway.
Right.
But it just got to a point where like I got so like listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the room everywhere I go, right? I feel like I'm pretty well rounded, but you know, I don't have any. I know a lot of people that are probably a lot smarter than me. Why was it that I was able to figure this shit out from the get-go? And all these people that are supposedly smarter than me have all this egg on their face now. Because now all the studies have come out that the mask didn't work. The social distancing was just a fucking completely made-up figure they just plucked out of the air to make it seem like they were doing something.
And then the vaccine. What I was about to say was how Biden came out. I forget what year it was. I think it was about a year after the vaccines dropped. Mm-hmm. And he straight up said, if you haven't gotten it yet, you're why this is still happening. You're hindering.
You're the problem, and we're heading for that was the winter of death that he was talking about. That we're coming up on a winter that was 2021.
And not once did any doctor, not even Fauci, say that getting the vaccine will prevent you from spreading it to other people. Because essentially it's the flu.
Exactly. I mean, listen, and I had the OG variant. I got it. I got it a year. December of 2020, I got it.
I got it in December of 2021.
And I mean, not gonna lie, it kicked my ass a little bit.
Oh, I was out of commission for a week.
Yeah, it was not pleasant.
I mean, I could function.
Was it the sickest I've ever been? No.
Oh, I couldn't stop puking and shitting for about 24 hours, and I lost my senses of taste and smell for a week. But 7 days to the day, almost to the hour. I was fine. I just took over-the-counter cold medicine, like Mucinex.
Mine hit me in like my lungs. Like I couldn't breathe. Like going from my bedroom to the couch.
Oh sure,
just to watch football on Sunday.
It affected everybody. Just like the flu.
It felt like I was climbing Everest. I was like, huh.
And if you're somebody with a autoimmune deficiency already, or very young or very old, I can understand. Wanting those precautions. Same reason why you would get a flu shot.
Protect the elderly and protect those with autoimmune deficiencies. Well, unlike Governor Cuomo did when he shoved 15,000 fucking COVID positive elderly people back into their nursing homes and was like, "Go die, motherfuckers."
It happened in Mass too. Charlie Baker did the same thing.
But they just covered that right up. Mm-hmm. And then they fired Cuomo because they were like, sexual allegations.
Yeah, I'm not a pervert. I'm just Italian.
Yeah. That's what did it. It wasn't the 15,000 dead elderly people. It was the intern's ass that he grabbed. Okay.
And what gets me the most about those people that are the quick to say that, they're also the ones that are super against Trump. But they'll say, I have a healthy distrust of the government, but I still got my vaccine. Then you don't.
I was forced to get mine because of my job, and that's the only reason I got it. Because if I didn't, now looking back at it, I mean, I should have just lied because nobody followed up, nobody checked, nobody followed up. All you had to do was sign this piece of paper saying that you got it, and that was it. You didn't have to present any proof, nothing. I'm like, and when I found that out, I was even more pissed off. Because I was like, you motherfuckers, like you made me get this shit and it didn't fucking matter anyway. I'm like, fuck off.
If you did end up getting it again, it would have just lessened the severity of the symptoms. Potentially.
Allegedly. But who knows? Because how would you know? There's no way to know that. There's no possible way to know that. And even now they're coming out with all this stuff and they're like, yeah, this vaccine's basically fucking useless. You know, every time like something new, like a new study comes out about the vaccine, it's never like, oh, this is actually good. It's always the other way. It's always like, ugh. Yeah, this wasn't really nearly as good as we hoped it was going to be. It actually kind of fucking sucks.
Anti-vaccine. We obviously need them for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any stretch. I've always been, you know, I firmly believe in getting vaccinated for chickenpox, mumps, measles, polio, all that fucking good shit. Like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That's shit that's been around for years and we know it works.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not some experimental vaccine. And that was the other thing. You know, I know Trump pushed the vaccine big time and tried to get it out there as quickly as he could. But again, what choice did he have? You know, if he didn't do that, you know, and granted, obviously it was an election year. If he doesn't do that, no matter what he did, he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
Yeah, his hands were tied in that for sure.
So that's why, but like I could go back and you know, sidestep through it and look through all the stuff that, you know, the mistakes Trump made throughout the COVID thing. And I didn't, you know, a lot of things I didn't agree with and a lot of things I understood, like he's just doing this because it's, again, we didn't know. And he's trying to do something that, you know, that's never been done before, which is get a vaccine in a matter of 8 to 10 months.
The other thing with that too is all of his detractors were like, "Oh, we can't trust this. It's being rushed." Like,
right, and then as soon as Joe Biden wins the election, it's like you're putting this needle in your arm or you're fucking going to jail.
Yeah, some people are like, I wanted to reign vaccine mandates right now, and it was the same people saying he should be Trump should be locked up for fast tracking this without it being tested. It didn't magically become a different formula. Once Biden was elected, it's the same fucking shit they were working on when Trump passed.
But Biden's sycophants in the media made sure that everybody thought that was the case, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, if we had an honest media in this country, Trump would win 50 out of 50 states.
Easily, I think.
I don't even, or maybe 49, because I think maybe California is too far gone.
It's because of the electoral. Like I see way more Trump signs in people's yards in our area.
Right, but we don't have the power of the city.
It doesn't matter.
6 million people live in Boston, and you can guarantee 5 million of them are, you know, half the state is going to vote for Kamala Harris.
I'm sure he polls very well in the more rural, less occupied.
Listen, man, I can't drive from my house to a Acushnet River Valley golf course and I could probably count 50 Trump signs.
Yeah,
just from here to there. So, and I mean, one thing that gives me a little bit of hope, and I'll leave it with this, is I'm seeing a lot more Trump signs in 2024 than I did in 2020. I'm not seeing a whole lot of Walz-Harris signs, but I am seeing a shitload more of Trump signs. So hopefully that's a harbinger of things to come. And, you know, 34 days from now, we don't lose the country forever. Because like I said, you can vote yourself into socialism, but you can't vote yourself out. The only way out is revolution. And this country does not have the stomach for that.
The left certainly don't have the balls to make it happen. I've already gone toe to toe with Antifa personally, and they don't have the fucking minerals.
So we're gonna lose the Zoom here in about less than a minute. So as we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot.
Good spot for the pilot test episode, and
Sure. We're gonna work out the rest of this shit. I mean me.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. It'll be a collaborative effort, but
regardless, I think once I got my audio shit figured out, at least, you know, I wasn't constantly hearing ourselves loop. We had some good discussions. So
indeed.
I like where we're going.
Me too. I look forward to doing it again.
All right, brother.
All right, bud. Until next time.
Yep. Trav and Joe signing off from the adult table.
Peace out.